A simple way to do a wrist adjustment is just like this, or like this. You know, a lot of people do it like that, right?
That's what I do.
Yeah, I like to get in deeper by coming right into this point in the wrist where it bends like that. And then my thumb comes over, and this is also, you know, partly the size of my hand. And I actually put this part of my hand over my thumb. And then it's just a small upward movement. And hers feels like it's actually already in place. Like just minor, you know, it actually feels quite good. So it's not going to do anything if that's the case, okay? But it can be very clunky that like huge adjustments can happen.
I had a huge one like a couple days before I came here.
Yeah.
With my friend. Because I do it all the time to people.
Yeah.
And this one was like her. I'd never felt one like that, and it was huge. And she was like, "Oh," I was like, "Wow, did you feel that?" She's like, "Yeah." Like,
Yeah.
me, it was like the earth just moved.
Yeah.
It was big.
So these points in here are a little bit similar to the points in the legs, and they can be a bit of chi pumping. You can get right above the elbow, and those are points on the bands, obviously. If the band is charged, this is just a nice way to work it. She's not that tight, but we could then follow the bands up. So working the arms and the forearm and the biceps and triceps is pretty easy. You just kind of work, like find a band and work it up. And you can either cross fiber it like this, okay? You could hold and shake, okay? Or use oil and caress it like that, okay? That's the major ways that I do it. Or like I said, just hold a point, maybe move up. More like shiatsu is done more like this, because shiatsu is not an oil-based massage, okay?
And how do you manipulate the shoulder? Like when you're stretching the shoulder out, like just up with the arm?
You can also do this where you stretch it, just pull. You can kind of pull and shake it a bit. But mostly it's that one I was just showing where I'm holding the points and moving it. And you can do that with the person facing up, facing down, or in the side position. The side positions actually gives you the best access.
As far as like rotating it, you know, around.
Yeah, you can go full rotations. Yeah. Whereas here I'm sort of working with whatever I can. Sometimes I actually then, once I've really worked somebody's arm, I'll actually bring the arm, like you can feel like her resistance there because of the tightness in here. So I'll actually do things like just see what kind of movements we can get, you know. Like you'll see that in some of my other videos, you know, but usually after I've done the hand, okay? And then I just like fully open it all up, basically, okay? Your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just with her chopstick?
Yeah, lots of chopstick work on her fingers. But frozen shoulder could have involvement like of these bands coming through here as well. So you need to diagnose, is it just coming from the hand, or is there an involvement of you know, the...
Right there, that one right there is usually a good one too. Like that one right in there.
Okay, so we'll just give these one. So I also do things like this where I twist the foot like that while holding it. So always support and isolate movements so that you're not just... It's kind of like if you pull something, you're not necessarily always trying to pull the whole body, although sometimes you do. So I could, again, we got some clicks out of that toe, double click, click, up, a little bit of a click, and a nice one. So you can do the toe pulling with the person facing down as well. All right, obviously we can feel some tension through here. I can also hold, she's got great flexibility. So you can see, I like to do things like hold pressure points in between toes and move them around, you know, and hold in here and move the foot while holding those points in between the metatarsals, which are the metatarsals are the bones deep in here. These are tarsals in here. Or phalanges, right?
Those are the toes.
Yeah, I call them toes. I get confused with Latin.
Phalanges.
Latin was never good.
But that's where you get your proximal, medial, distal.
Yeah, oh yeah, of the joint, of the bones, yeah. Okay, so this ankle doesn't move quite as well as her other ankle. So I'm expecting a lot more tension. You see how it's like quite a lot more effort for me to move this ankle. The other ankle felt really smooth. So I'm expecting some tension in here. And She's saying da for Russian for yes. Thank you, Brandon. And a lot of work in here. So completely different. This is probably her worst one. Well, it is. Which then could be adding to her scoliosis. So I'm going to go a bit easy because we can see we're hitting her pain threshold pretty quick through here. So I just want to open that, and I'm going to change the angle, come into here. And this is a really nice move. It's connoisseur's move because it's can be uncomfortable, but I'm holding 4 different points. And then just to add a bit of flavor, you can kind of move through here and then even come into here. Because this is where this is where I feel like maybe some of her scoliosis is coming from, actually. I could even stretch that. But again, I know this is near her pain threshold, right?
Well, this, yeah, the foot has a lot to do with the back. And this spine.
It's just wicked sore through there. It was on me too.
It's wicked sore on me too.
Yeah.
You just have such big mitts. It wears my hands out hard. Especially anybody over this size. I'm like, oh.
Well, I get worn out too.
Yeah.
Just the nature of the job. You gotta take it in bite-sized pieces. See, with her, I'm tempted to just put her foot up like this and then gently apply pressure through here and just let her, because that's really tight. But if that doesn't work, I'd have to come back and do her little toe again.
Is it the little toe or is it the Achilles?
This is the outer, no,
Oh.
the Achilles is back here.
Right.
This is the outer little, see this? This is one I'm working on right here. You can see how tight that is.
the little toe.
Outer little toe
Outer
bend,
little toe.
yeah. Or side leg bend. Sometimes I call it one.
But then there was this one back here too, which is the
That's the
Achilles,
Achilles back
which
there.
comes in through here through the three
Yeah.
and then comes up.
But the one I'm working on with this, that's the outer little toe
Outer
bend.
little toe.
Yeah. The Achilles I'd get more from the person up like this. And then I could come in and, again, work all these bits that are coming into it. Might use a bit of oil, might not. Do you want me to use a little bit of oil? I use a variety of different types of oil when I'm using oil. This is apricot kernel oil, which is a nice one. I think it's got a lot of vitamin E in it, but it's just a nice. I use grapeseed, I use almond oil.
I use weed oil.
It comes out very green. I've used hemp oil, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used that
Olive
before.
oil.
I used to
Or
make a
coconut
mixture
oil.
with hemp and dark sesame and coconut combination because the hemp oil tends to be very thin, is what I found. Unless maybe it's a different type. There's so many different types of hemp, isn't there?
Yeah, and what I have is I have a couple different kinds. The one I brought is I think there's weed and CBD in it. And the oil I use has a lot of CBD, because CBD is actually better
Painkiller,
for
right?
pain relief
Yeah.
than the THC. But they do activate better when in conjunction.
Yeah, like the natural plant
Yeah.
sort of thing, yeah.
The whole plant, yeah,
Yeah.
and the ratio between the CBD and
Right.
the THC are a very good combination together.
Yeah.
I did a herbalist class with Tammy Sweet. Yeah, she's maybe down south.
So we can just get into some of this, fine detail. As I say, I would have, done any chopstick work before I do all this, but we've already done a bit of work all the last week with the chopsticks on the feet, so hopefully this will still be beneficial. I like to use a variety of my fingers just so I don't wear out. Like if I constantly use my thumb, it's going to wear out. So I also double my fingers up like that. So it's gives me extra support. And I also use this joint as well to balance out this. So here I'm coming in with this part of my my thumb right in here. I find this area right around the ankle can be an area of like anchoring and congestion too. So we can open up the ankle and just come right in around it like that to help get into this band. And I can stretch the foot like that and then just gently apply pressure. And even just hold. Is that okay pressure, Faina, or is it too much?
Yeah, it's like 9.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if that's not going to release, then I'd come back and use the chopstick on the tip of the toe and do it, spend another, 15, 20 minutes. Because it still feels like this joint here, it actually feels quite stiff. So I don't want to go too hard into here because it could still be anchored in this joint in particular. Okay, that's very suspicious. Does anybody want to feel that joint and just have see what I'm talking about?
Is it that band right underneath it? Like that one under here?
That's the bottom little toe band. That's going to affect it. The whole thing feels a bit tight. So the bottom little toe, the outer little toe. I'm just suspicious that that whole toe needs a lot of work, actually.
Right in there does too.
Because that's going to get rid of some of it, what I showed you, but it's still, like, feel how it moves this way. It doesn't move very well.
Oh.
You feel that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, none of them move very well. Really needs more
Yeah,
work.
it feels worse than yours. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like you could even start like massaging people with an oil massage and then start to come in and kind of go, okay, well, this needs, and you can see I'm not going that hard, but it's very charged for her. And I could even if I'm not using the chopstick, what I could do is do things like this where I'm sort of turning it.
Opening it up.
Opening it up.
Just saying, hey, let's go.
Yeah, just
Hey.
getting, also kind of bringing her awareness there that this is what needs to be done, and then also bringing, it doesn't want to move this way that I would then move it that way, and stretch it open. But yeah, I definitely feel like I want to, I actually do want to, I'll show you guys how to do